Mr. Speaker, the question before us is whether or not this House will approve the economic policy. And my suggestion is that this House should approve the economic policy proposals that the administration has put here. Mr. Speaker, I say so for 5 reasons that I will outline shortly. Number one is the fact that the most important question on the minds of people of this country, including the young people of this country, is the question of unemployment. Right, Honorable Speaker, I have in my hands here the Afrobarometer study of the Center for Democratic Development, conducted just before the 2020 elections. And it lists the top 3 challenges on the minds of Ghanaians: unemployment, infrastructure, education. Mr. Speaker, the question therefore is, do the economic policy proposals that have been put before us answer the question of unemployment on the hearts and minds of Ghanaians? And I submit to you that the answer is yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, by the year 2024, 6.6 million young people will be out of school looking for jobs. Any administration that is minded to deal with the challenges of our time will be exploring ways by which it can help ensure that these people get jobs. And that is one of the first considerations that this budget answers. Mr. Speaker, as a matter of fact, the first thing we have done as an administration, indeed as a country, is to expand the Ghanaian economy. By 2016, when the immediate past administration was leaving power, growth had come to as low as 3.4%. What that means is that the rate at which the Ghanaian economy was expanding, so that private sector could expand and create more jobs, was down to 3.4%. Right, Honorable Speaker, until COVID hit us, we were growing at an average of 7% year on year. An average of 7% year on year. What that meant was that a lot of young people had the opportunity to get jobs in the private sector. Mr. Speaker, additionally, even in the public sector, the government of Ghana, under the leadership of the Akufo-Addo administration, ensured that at least about 300,000 young Ghanaians were recruited in the public sector, both for those who are paid by the Comptroller and Accountant General and for those from the non-subvented agencies. Mr. Speaker, this is very different from the days when we were told that because we were down to the bone and had gone to the IMF, we could not recruit people in the public sector. But what is even more exciting, Mr. Speaker, is that in this 2022 budget, the administration has made available 1 billion Ghana cedis to support young men and women in this republic who want to embark upon their own business, known as the Youth Start Initiative. And so, Mr. Speaker, the most important issue on the minds of Ghanaians is being answered by this administration by expanding the private sector. And if you look at the forecast of growth in the year 2022, we as an administration are forecasting 5.8% growth. The International Monetary Fund, from where my friends get policy credibility, says that they project that we will hit 6.2% growth. That expansion is expansion that will create a lot more jobs in the private sector. The continued expansion in the public sector will create jobs in the public sector. And then the 1 billion Ghana cedis that we are making available to young Ghanaians will also help us create at least about 1 million jobs in the next 3 years in the private sector here in Ghana. And so the most important question, unemployment, is answered by this 2022 budget, Mr. Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, every Friday when we come to this chamber, you field questions, majority of them coming from my colleagues on the other side. And a good number of those questions have to do with infrastructure and roads. The second reason for which I say we should support this policy is because this economic policy forecast a huge expansion in the investment in infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, if you go to the appendices, in the year, and my colleagues are asking me where, I will draw their attention. In the year 2021, capital expenditure was 12 billion Ghana cedis. 12 billion. And even after forecasting and spending about 12 billion, every day we see demonstrations in all our constituencies asking for more roads. Every day we see calls on government to spend more for infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, the government has responded by making available in the 2022 budget 16 billion Ghana cedis for infrastructure. This is another reason for which all of us must support this economic policy. You cannot be a member of parliament who tells your constituents that I am going to Accra to fight for infrastructure for you. And when you come to parliament and the government says, I am moving from 12 billion to 16 billion on infrastructure, you say, no, I won't go for it. How can you go for it? And so, Mr. Speaker, the second reason for which we should support this is because this budget, unlike any budget in our history in this republic, forecast the most amount of money to fund infrastructure in this country. And I believe that is why all of us, majority, minority, must support this economic policy which is before us today, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I round up, I want to call on every single one of the 275 members of this House. These are economic policy prescriptions that we must all support. We must support them because they are the answers to the questions on our minds. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.